Nathan Brennan.
Everyone knows that I'm the smartest person here.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Nate.
A very happy Wednesday hump day to all of you. My name is Nate Brennan. He's the Husker Hall of Famer, 9-year NBA vet Eric Strickland. 402-464-5685. Our name and text line, Honda of Lincoln hotline. As always, we want to hear from you. You can also check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. On YouTube, give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a share. Friends, family, people you don't like. Share it to everybody that you know. We truthfully really do appreciate all of you for helping us get to 2,000. The goal now, 3,000. So help us get to that goal. Like, subscribe, share on YouTube. Again, 402-464-5685. Start name text line, Honda of Lincoln hotline. Strick, remote today. Let's go ahead and bring you in. What's going on? We miss having you here in studio.
No, I just have to make a short trip towards Sioux City. And so just was better to do it from here than to do it from there. It's makes it a little bit longer, and didn't want to have to do it that long. But yeah, man, it's always good. I'm still here. I'm glad to see Nick. I saw you guys were starting to dig into some wonderful topics, man. You guys were starting to get in, on this current ferret situation. And it was something we had talked about yesterday about the nepotism part of it and kind of how that can affect an organization, whether it be a football or any type of organization. At sometimes is it valuable, or is it a problem? So I like the way you guys are starting to tap in on that.
Yeah, we'll bring him in. Nick, join us from the happy hour. Convince him to stay over for the next segment. What's going on?
Hey guys, how's it going? Strick, good to see you as always, man.
Yes, sir.
Lot of stuff going on in terms of that, like we talked about with Kirk Ferentz and kind of the timetable on that. And then also the Husker football schedule was released today. And it turned out Nebraska has to go on the road for the 4th straight year to play their first game of the season.
Hey, but think about this, though. You're absolutely right. I mean, they'll hit the road on August 31st on a Thursday night against Minnesota. Yeah. And then they'll go to Colorado, the first 2 games on the road. I think they owe Colorado a little something. Hopefully they'll be able to take care of business on that. And then they come home for 1, 2, 3 games, a little, Illinois action on the road. And then, it gets tough from there.
It's going to be a new look Minnesota team also next year. You'll have to remember. I mean, they're going to be without Mohamed Ibrahim. They're going to be without Tanner Morgan. It's going to be a new look Minnesota team.
Possibly without PJ Fleck. If rumors are correct.
If PJ Fleck decides to take another job. And also it could be a new look Nebraska. We still don't know who the head coach is going to be. And I don't know about you guys, but I'll be much more inclined and interested in taking a trip to Minneapolis in August rather than in November.
Big facts. Facts on that.
Here's one thing, big time. And I'll ask you guys, that was the one thing that really stuck out to me, because we talk about these week 0, week 1 games, whatever it may be, basically starting out your season. I know the SEC usually likes to have cupcake games going in. I know a lot of the Big Ten schools do it as well. Is this just a Nebraska thing that for some reason every single season opener they have to be tested? Because you guys can answer. When was the last time that Nebraska went into a season against a team that you knew 100% confidence you're going to beat the hell out of them and get off to a good start? Because it just seems like here we go again. Like Northwestern was the same way. You're playing a Northwestern team that's a Big Ten West opponent. Minnesota now playing a Big Ten West opponent, a team that's proven themselves year in and year out. And it just seems like here we go again.
Yeah, it seems like we try to position ourselves to get off to a pretty good start. I mean,
right.
I like that it's a challenge a little bit more, even though there's going to be some loss with Ibrahim and also to touch on that part with PJ Fleck. If I'm PJ Fleck and I'm looking at it, I think I've hit my ceiling, right? Mm-hmm. You've made some great runs. You've done some tremendous things in transforming that Minnesota organization and the university and the program. But now I think it's time. Otherwise, you could have just a downward trend, and then you may not ever get back to a point where you can really maximize your opportunity to move on to a better situation. So if I'm PJ Fleck, I'd probably be looking for an exit also.
That's interesting to think about. I look at this, guys. Although Nebraska has started the last last 3 seasons 0-1. And to answer your question, Nate, I mean, when was the last time that Nebraska felt like they go into a season? I would have said BYU in 2017.
And now you don't want to play.
But no. So here's the thing, though. Nebraska lost on a Hail Mary in that game to a guy named Tanner Mangum, who was the quarterback backup to Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill was still at BYU that season. They came into Memorial Stadium. Taysom Hill ended up getting injured in that game. Tanner Mangum came in, threw a Hail Mary, beat Nebraska on the last play of the game. Mangum then went on a 2-year mission trip for BYU. So he was gone for 2 years. So that was the whole situation. What
about before that then?
Before that, I mean, okay, so Ben makes a good point on the text line. South Alabama in 2019, although they only ended up winning by 14, and in that game, actually, Cam Taylor-Britt had a pick 6 that game to help out Nebraska's defense. So, I mean, to that point, I look at it a different way, though, guys. I look at it as an opportunity, right? Because I can already tell you what my conversation going into the game next season is going to be. Listen, Nebraska, you are once again in the spotlight. You are in the spotlight. Again. You are the biggest college football game going on
in the early part of the season.
In the early part of the season, and you are one of the only. Mm-hmm. And whoever is the coach, if it's Mickey Joseph, it's, hey, Mickey has a great opportunity here to show why he earned the head coaching job in week 1, basically. Or if it's anybody else, that enter X name here has the opportunity to show that they belong here at Nebraska and to kind of get their career in front of all of college football's eyes on the biggest stage at the time in the first game of the season. I look at it as an opportunity rather than maybe Nebraska should have scheduled a cupcake.
I'm just a big fan of set the tone, start the season off right. And again, you're right, though, Nick. This is an opportunity. And say Nebraska does go into Minneapolis, plays Minnesota on a Thursday night in front of a primetime audience, and you do win that game, absolutely. You set the tone for the season. You show that maybe you haven't arrived, but you're a force to be reckoned with in the Big Ten West. But
it's a Big Ten West win.
But on the flip side, you have a situation like this year against Northwestern, where Northwestern is still sitting here in week 8, week 7, wherever we're at right now. Their only win is still Nebraska.
Yeah.
And that sets a tone for your season too. So I understand that the setting the tone for the season and all. I just think that it can go on.
Well, let me say this. I think that also this year was set up actually for Scott Frost to redeem himself. The schedule for this year was tremendously favorable for a redemption of his name sake in the coaching realm. As Nick just stated, I would also say that this schedule is set up for whoever, as he said, X here, X there, Mickey Joseph, whoever. This schedule too, if you as we talked about yesterday, Nate, if you fill up those areas that have holes in them so that your ship isn't sinking, if you take care of those, mend those, heal those, make those areas better that you had problems with this year, and you come into this schedule with that opportunity that Nick just said with Minnesota early on, boom, a revenge game against Colorado, and then you got. And listen, don't sleep on Northern Illinois. You know they kind of that's a tricky one.
It's a good program.
But then you still only face Michigan again. You got your regular stuff with Illinois, Northwestern, Purdue. Then you come back with Michigan State, who right now they're trying to find themselves. Right. You got Maryland. You got Wisconsin that's down, and then Iowa. Man, listen, it's set up to make a tremendous run next year. It's set up if you get it right.
I look at it this way, guys. And now obviously this is looking with an optimistic approach. If you're able to get 2 wins on the road to start out the season, I mean, what kind of boost does that give your program, right?
And Colorado should be that cupcake.
Colorado,
with the current state of the program.
Colorado,
my God,
Colorado and Louisiana Tech are your two extremely winnable games next year. And that's saying something when Northern Illinois is not one of those.
Right.
I think that
Northern Illinois is a good program.
They're tricky. Yeah, don't you come and sleep on Northern Illinois? They'll clip you.
Yeah,
so
that's and especially like we're gonna have similar conversations. I think part of it also will depend on how this season kind of plays out and what direction Nebraska's program goes as a whole and from a leadership standpoint. But like, look at it. I mean, your hardest conference game would be Michigan, and you get the Wolverines at home. Wisconsin, who knows how they're going to look next year. You have to go on the road to Wisconsin, I suppose. But you get Maryland, Purdue, Northwestern, Michigan, and Iowa all at home. Facts. All of them are at home. You travel to Illinois after a week against Michigan. Now here's the thing: this next year in 2023, there's only one bye week because you didn't play a week 0 game. So that'll be no Big Ten team plays in week 0 game. So that'll be something that we'll have to remember. I mean, Nebraska's only going to have one bye week next year, and it won't be until October 14th. So you're going to have to play 6 games before your first bye week. And so you just have to kind of play that into perspective or take that into account as well when you're having these conversations, that after those first 6 weeks, you're going to be on the road 3 of your 6 weeks. Husker fans don't get to see Nebraska in action at home until September 16th, until week 3, which kind of stinks. But you get Purdue, Michigan, Maryland, and Iowa and Northwestern at home.
Well, too, and you got to look at Wisconsin and Iowa. They're dealing with their own issues as well. I mean, we talked about Wisconsin's already moved on from their coach. It looks like Iowa could be next. And the other thing that I noticed, guys, and correct me if you think that I'm wrong, but I think whoever scheduled this set it up this year for Nebraska to potentially to have game day, because everyone knows the atmosphere in Lincoln. Everyone knows the game day likes coming to Lincoln. You had it this year where if you were undefeated going to that Oklahoma game, Oklahoma was undefeated. They were a top 10 football team. Nebraska would have been ranked had they ran the table. Obviously, that didn't happen. You look at it again this year, you have wins at Minnesota, at Colorado. You defeat Northern Illinois and Louisiana Tech at home. You're sitting again at 4-0 with the team that potentially could make the playoff this year. Like this is set up again for you. It is wide open for you to host a game day. Like I don't know who else is playing during that week. I'm not going to act like I do, but I'm going to tell you right now, if Nebraska is facing Michigan and both teams are undefeated, you'd be hard-pressed to convince me otherwise that they're not going to host game day. So that's another national audience. That's another way to say that you've arrived. That's another way to get more eyes on the program, especially when you're going into a season with a new head coach.
And recruits.
Absolutely.
It's big to have the recruiting to be able to see you on that scale of a game, no doubt.
I mean, I would also add, like Nebraska, you can talk about previous schedules from previous years, I suppose. And Nebraska's kind of gotten the short end of the stick. They've had to play Ohio State quite a few times. They've had to play Michigan State sometimes and Michigan, right? But here we are going into next season, and you're able to dodge Ohio State for the second straight year.
Yeah.
And how many years in a row now have you been able to dodge Penn State? So, yes, you've had to play Michigan. But don't forget, Penn State will finally move on from Sean Clifford after this season.
Right.
And I truly believe that their backup, Drew Aller, is going to be a very good quarterback in this league and in the country. And they believe so too. And James Franklin's not going to go anywhere. He just signed an extension. Penn State, although they got blown out on the road at Michigan, they're still winning games they're supposed to win. They still beat Minnesota by a couple scores this previous weekend. James Franklin's doing his job there. And I am okay with going to Michigan State on the road over Happy Valley at 7 p.m. on a Sunday or on a Saturday night.
Absolutely.
Because I would much rather have more confidence going into the quote unquote woodshed, I suppose, of Michigan State, as Mel Tucker wants to call it, than Penn State or Ohio State for a 6:30 p.m. kickoff.
Well, we talked about it earlier, Strick, that I think if we're talking about the other side of the Big Ten Conference, your two teams that you want to play are Indiana and Rutgers. Okay, Nebraska got them this year. You got that out of the way. The next two, where it currently stands, I'd probably say Maryland and Michigan State. So, yeah. If we have to say 4 teams on the Big Ten East and that side of the conference, that's probably it.
Yeah.
What else would you ask for? It's certainly, like you said, Nick, it's
Yeah.
certainly not Penn State. It's certainly not Ohio State.
Yeah, I agree. I think Penn State, avoiding them, especially Ohio State, and we'll also see the strength of Penn State has Iowa State this week. I mean, Ohio State this weekend. Is that correct?
Yeah, that could.
So that's what I'm saying. We're really going to get a chance to see what the makeup of this Penn State team really is.
Yeah.
Obviously, I still don't believe. I do still want to get into that one situation. I didn't get a chance to address it with Nate, but he talked about the F word. And
I do.
Boy, was you so on it. Was you so on it with the F word of who was it? It was
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. You
Ole
sure?
Miss.
You said Ole Miss.
I was saying Ole Miss is the F word, and they proved they are
I don't know.
fraudulent.
I'm not sure about that.
They are fraudulent.
Brian Kelly wins at places.
Brian Kelly's a good coach, but I mean, come on,
as much as I hate
25
Brian
points.
Kelly, but
25 points.
That-
You're
I didn't
the
expect it.
seventh ranked team in the country. You
Death
can't be
Valley.
losing by 25, man. Come on.
Here's one thing. I know we got to go to break here in a moment, but one of the last things I'll say, don't forget, guys, this will probably be the last year of divisions next season. And to think that Nebraska has an opportunity here,
Big Ten West. This is their, like, if we want to be as brutal and honest and realistic as possible, the way that Nebraska's program is set up for the future, unless they get some huge additions through the transfer portal and their recruiting classes really pan out well, this could be, I mean, next season when Nebraska's finally or in divisions might be their best opportunity, right? We don't know what Nebraska is going to look like when they switch to a pod format, when they switch to where just the top two teams in the conference go to the Big Ten title game. We don't know what that looks like. And that's where Nebraska, not only the rest of this year, but next year as well, really have to start making some moves from a program standpoint so that when they turn to a pod system where they face three permanent opponents every year, and then they switch them out, that they're not left in the dust, because teams like a Northwestern is going to be left in the dust. A team you're really going to start, I believe, to see separation in the whole entire conference discussion. And you're going to have eventually three tiers to where it's eventually Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, and somebody from the Big Ten West. I'd probably throw Wisconsin in that group.
Are we
consistently?
Consistency, but we don't even know what their head coach looks like in
No,
the future.
but I would say if you had to choose someone from Big Ten West,
or
who else
after
would you choose?
or after Graham Mertz and Braylon Allen, like what happens with Wisconsin?
Well, Wisconsin's always going to have a good running back.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, they
They
have
had
Chaz
Hornibrook.
Belusi.
They had
Hornibrook, that's
Hornibrook,
right.
that's your boy.
But
That's
it's-
Strick's boy.
That's true. I mean, or Illinois. Like, are we not consistently yet? But if Brett Bielema stays there, I'd be okay with putting Illinois in that conversation,
group.
which is just crazy to think about. So, like,
I
once
agree.
again,
That's a good point. Actually, yeah.
Nebraska, and that's where we see like Wisconsin firing Paul Chryst is more, in my opinion, a move for the future.
Yeah.
To say, hey, listen, we know what you did in the Big Ten West, but we just really don't know if you're going to be able to get us over the top when we have the whole entire conference. So you're starting to see programs make moves so that they're better suited in 2024 when USC, UCLA, and who knows who else come into play, because it's going to be a completely different kind of landscape.
Strick, I'll ask you about this too, because you remember the rivalry better than Nick and I do in the room. Playing Colorado, what do you think about that one?
I love the rivalry. Love the rivalry. I've always loved it. I think Colorado made a mistake when they made that move to the Pac-12. Yeah. Obviously, they thought it was best for them. Yeah. That was the mistake they made. I believe that was a mistake for us going into the Big 12. I really didn't think we was a Big 12 fit recruiting wise. And it's the same thing I think that they're having problems with. It's tough to get people to leave anything west or southwest to get into Colorado. But I love the rivalry.
Well,
you want to play them now because Colorado is a joke.
That and it really hurt them when Mel Tucker left. It really hurt them because then they had to go. I mean, Colorado's not a sexy job by any means, so now they had to go out and get Carl Durrell. And here's a name for the Colorado job, though, the Illinois defensive coordinator. That I'm blanking on his name right now. But the Illinois defensive coordinator is a name for
Colorado's in shambles. Nebraska will beat the hell out of Colorado.
We're gonna figure this out. Ryan Walters. the defense coordinator for Illinois, is a name to watch for the Colorado head coach job.
Look out for it. All right, we got to take a quick break. Evan Bland's going to be here on the other end. We're going to ask him about this schedule. We're going to ask him about Nebraska and Illinois. Stay with us.
The weather in Nebraska is unpredictable every day, and that's no fun when you're trying to golf. Double Eagle Golf in West Lincoln is now open to let you play in perfect indoor conditions daily. Double Eagle Golf has 5 simulator bays to hit in, by far the most in Lincoln, and has a fully stocked bar with beers and cocktails for you to enjoy while you play. Double Eagle Golf is open each weekday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., so you can start the day there, take a client over lunch, or end the night with friends. Check out Double Eagle Golf today inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
Join us on Friday from 4 to 6 at Bourbon Street as we get you ready for Saturday's game against Illinois. Old School Jay Foreman and DP goes from 4 to 6 p.m. Stop by for some of the best drinks and Cajun food in town at Bourbon Street at 8th and Q.
Tractor Supply is looking for full-time team members for their Waverly Distribution Center. Tractor Supply has a new progressive pay model where team members receive 5 wage increases in the first 2 years of employment with the ability to earn up to $24 per hour. Applicants can expect a 3- and 4-day work week schedule with additional overtime days with both day and night shift schedules available. At Tractor Supply, they work hard, have fun, and make money. Apply today at tractorsupply.jobs. Chances are you haven't started thinking about holiday shopping yet. Chances are your holidays will be much less stressful if you could do all of that shopping in one place. Chances are you can have all that shopping done today with the help of Beatrice Bakery. Pick up Grandma's fruitcakes in sizes all the way up to 5 pounds, and you can sit back and relax this year. Order now at BeatriceBakery.com or buy them here in Lincoln at the From Nebraska gift shop at 8th and Q. Beatrice Bakery, welcome to our world of yum.
Vershawn Jackson for Brandt Excavating. Brandt's been in business for 29 years, and they specialize in a variety of things. If you're looking for someone to get the job done in precision demolition, excavating, trucking, mass grading, and site prep, Brandt is the place to call. To set up a quote or learn more, call Brandt Excavating at 402-474-4113 or go to BrandtExcavating.com. They're also hiring, so join the team today. Brandt Excavating, a part of the Bauer brand, who reminds you, go Big Brand!
James Enterprise Incorporated, that company that hauls your gravel, rocks, and material for your farm or construction site, says, thank you to the people of the healthcare community for putting yourself in the way of danger to save the public. That is what it means to be a hero and to build a beautiful legacy. This message brought to you by James Enterprise Incorporated. For all your hauling of rock, gravel, and materials, call them at 402-432-6740. That's 402-432-6740.
Please enjoy these next few moments of relaxation from Scott and Greg at Mendoza Family Insurance. If you would like to feel this relaxed about your home, auto, business, life, or commercial property insurance, please give Scott or Greg a call today at Mendoza Family Insurance.
Casey's General Stores is giving away 2 tickets to each Nebraska football home game this season. To enter, just head to any Casey's General Store location in Lincoln during the football season, scan the QR code at the front counter, and fill out the online form. One winner will be chosen at random 2 days before that week's game. So head over to Casey's, stock up on all your tailgating snacks and drinks, and register to win 2 tickets to a Nebraska football game, brought to you by Casey's General Store and 93.7 The Ticket.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
Hi, I'm Charlie Stone, and I'm back with Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, you said to me earlier you have a lot going on at the dealership. Can you tell our listeners about it?
Sure can, Charlie. As I've said before, if you don't see a vehicle on our lot that you're looking for, it's probably on its way soon.
So, how many new Hondas do you have in stock or on the way?
We have a total of over 325, Charlie. with the great selection of pilots and Ridgelines in stock right now.
Well, we have been talking about the Honda of Lincoln way of buying cars for several months. How is that going?
People love it. We're buying all makes and models, whether they purchase the car from us or not. I mean, really, it's a no hassle, and we will pay them cash on the same day.
Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at smokeybear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Nate on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to On the Block 93.7 The Ticket. My name is Nate Brennan. He is the Husker Hall of Famer, 9-year NBA vet Eric Strickland. You're listening to 93.7 The Ticket, 402-464-5685, Honda of Lincoln Hotline, Saturday and text line. You can also check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. If you head over to YouTube, give us a like, give us a subscribe. We've officially hit 2,000 subscribers. Now we're going for 3,000. We appreciate all of you that help us out on all of those platforms. You can see what's going on here in studio. And we're going to head to the Honda of Lincoln Hotline and bring him in. Evan Beland, Omaha World Herald. Evan, how you doing today?
What's going on, guys? Just another slow news day, huh?
Yeah, slow news day, that's for sure. Game this weekend, Nebraska's new schedule. I don't really know what we're going to talk about here, but we can go ahead and get into it. First thing I want to ask you, I know that everyone's preparing for Illinois. That's the talk of the town, obviously. What do you think is the number one thing that you want to see from Nebraska this weekend to see them not only succeed, but put themselves in a position to win?
Well, I think that some of the topics this week, and Mickey Joseph laid it out before he took a question at his press conference yesterday, which was try to be the more physical team. And from that, a lot of different things can sort of emerge. Obviously, that's what you want for your defense anytime. But then offensively, if you can set that tone in the run game and at least come close to matching what Illinois does, you feel like Nebraska has the ability to go to the air in a way that the Illini can't. So I think that's probably where you start is, just that fight that we've seen from Nebraska, especially the last few weeks after the coaching change. Like, does that extend? Does that get sharpened coming out of the bye week when they're a little bit healthier? And I think it's just basic stuff. Like, can you slow down Chase Brown on the other side, who's been really good in general and really good after contact? And of course, Nebraska's not reliably been able to make tackles and be fundamental in that way. So I think that's probably where you start. And I think the other thing that was kind of interesting hearing the coaches talk is I think they're just sort of settling into who they are. Like, there was a time probably 3 weeks ago when I think Mickey Joseph would have told you, and he did say this after the Oklahoma game, that like, man, we should probably slow things down a little bit and protect the defense. And I think what they've come to realize is they've got an all-conference receiver in Trey Palmer who can get behind the defense, and they're just going to roll with that. I mean, we saw that against Purdue. Like, the defense saw 101 plays, but hey, if you're scoring, on every other deep ball that you throw downfield, points are points, and you got to take it and kind of go with it. So I think that's the other thing is Nebraska sort of settling into and being comfortable with what it's good at and what it's not.
Evan, one of the things is been talked about right now is just how crazy things are up in Iowa right now. Iowa Hawkeyes are 131st out of 131 FBS teams in yards per game, 127th in points per game, 118th in completion percentage, 126th in red zone offense, and 122nd in third down offense. And yet Brian Ferentz is still holding on, whereas there's a lot of people that said he should have lost his job last year. So people are really talking about this nepotism thing and where that sits there, right? How do you feel about Kirk Ferentz and his opportunity to extend going forward for the rest of this year?
Well, first of all, I think you could probably read those offensive numbers over and over and get some of the best ratings here locally. Just from those kind of struggles. But no, it's been really weird, and I think it's accentuated by the fact that the defense is really good, right? Like it'd be one thing if they were just a bad team, and you'd be frustrated if you were an Iowa fan, but the fact that you're wasting what is a top 5 defense on the other side, where you need so little from the offense, right? I mean, you talk about being 100, whatever in all these categories. If you're 100th or if you're 90th in these categories, Iowa's probably won 3 more games than they have. So I think that's probably part of the frustrating part. And there's no doubt, like the Brian Ferentz story has been going on for a while. I mean, I know a lot of Iowa fans who say, a lot of the stuff you see on social media generally about the program is kind of overblown, but the Brian Ferentz stuff, I think has bled over into casual fans too, where they're frustrated, where they feel like, there's some nepotism going on where, hey, it pays to be the son of the head coach who's making these decisions. And then I don't know if you caught any of his Brian Ferentz's press conferences, but he had one recently where he was asked about making a quarterback change, and he said, "What's the upside?" And that kind of sent people off again. And you kind of couple that with the fact that Kirk Ferentz again just the other day had a press conference where he essentially said, "Hey, it could be worse. I could be one of the reporters asking me questions instead of struggling in these spots." So definitely a little bit of friction in Iowa City. It's been smooth sailing there for a long time. They're still the reigning West Division champs, but it's a changing world too, man. And Iowa was one of the programs in the off season that little in the transfer portal. They've been slow to adjust to the NIL reality as well. And so, you kind of wonder if maybe some changes are coming there soon, voluntarily, otherwise, whatever it might be. But definitely more drama and friction in that program than we've seen in a long time.
Evan Bland, Omaha World Herald, joining us. Evan, I think that's a good point. I mean, Iowa just seems to be in complete shambles. This is not the Iowa that we're used to. Speaking of Iowa, Nebraska obviously has them next year on the schedule. It'll be the last game of the season. One thing I was asking the guys the segment before, and I want to ask you, how do you feel about starting off with Minnesota? Because I'm more of a fan of kind of getting ready for the season, starting off on the right foot, playing a cupcake team week 1, but then Strick and Nick brought up some good points too, that getting a big win against Minnesota would really set the tone for the season. We saw what happened this year at Northwestern. So how do you just feel about opening up the season on a Thursday against Minnesota?
Well, I think it'll be fun. I mean, going up to Minnesota in late August, that's a great travel weekend for a lot of people. You think about the games that Nebraska and Minnesota have played over the years. Typically it's been late October, early November. So those games, like, you don't really, if you're Nebraska, you're not necessarily loving that because, I mean, it's cold, they're hard hitting, they're not going to pass a lot. I get sort of the idea that if you were to win that game, it does set you up for some momentum. I think ideally most programs would want to start and sort of have that on-ramp into the season where they can figure some things out. I think specifically to next year's Nebraska team, when you're going to have a new permanent head coach, a new system in all likelihood, a lot of new players on the roster, you would probably prefer to have somebody where you could have a little bit more of a margin for error and get your feet wet a little bit, as opposed to a Minnesota team that's going to be pretty firmly established still under PJ Fleck. So I don't know that that's the most favorable thing in the world, but again, you cross off one of the most physical West Division opponents right off the bat. You're fully healthy, they're fully healthy. I think there's a different sort of tone that game takes on in August, as opposed to, again, later in the season where, I think in the second half, it often comes down to attrition and who's sort of can endure. Whereas early in the year, I think especially if you're in Nebraska and playing the style of football that they're playing now, I think you would have probably a better shot when everybody's fresh and everybody's healthy and that sort of thing. But, bottom line, it'll be fun having a Thursday game. There's sort of a quirk to it. It's not quite week 0. It's not quite week 1. And I just kind of had fun going back and looking at some of the other regular season Thursday games Nebraska's played. I mean, 2010 at Kansas State when Taylor Martinez had his coming out party, or 09 at Missouri when, and Ndamukong Suh was going nuts in the rain. Like, there was all kinds of kind of fun memories Nebraska's made on a Thursday, and maybe this will be the next one.
I sure hope so. That's for sure. Evan Bland, Omaha World Herald. Evan, before I ask you about baseball, what's going on that end? Any other takeaways from the schedule? I know that they're going to keep divisions. It sounds like for the Big Ten this upcoming year could be the last season. And it looks like, to me at least, that the Big Ten West might still be open for Nebraska.
Yeah. I mean, the opponents that are on the schedule were the same opponents that were on there in the previous version. So it wasn't like there were a lot of big surprises there.
Right.
I think the bye week and the right smack in the middle is nice. 7 games, I think six games down, you get that thing, which is pretty good. To me, it's sort of an ode to the end of divisional play. I mean, when the Big Ten adds UCLA, USC in 2024, and maybe there's further expansion at that time or later, we don't really know, but it's going to be a whole new format that they're still working through. And so, I think it's kind of a cool time to reflect and think, Nebraska, by the end of next season, will have played 28 straight seasons with a divisional format. So you think about all the goals that they've had in that time. Hey, it starts with winning the Big 12 North. Hey, it starts with winning the Legends division. Now it starts with winning the West. And so it's going to be a different sort of challenge. When you're talking about competing with some of the top teams in the East every year, like right as it stands, this is sort of Nebraska's best path to a conference title where, the West isn't as top heavy, certainly, as the East. I think it's deeper. I think there's more quality depth on the West side. But if you win that thing, you don't have to keep pace with Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State all season. What you have to do is win that division, and then you get a winner-take-all, one-shot deal where you could still potentially win the Big Ten Conference. So, I think it's the path to a conference title will get more difficult for Nebraska after next season. It's kind of fun. I kind of enjoyed the West and the quirks and getting to know those programs a little bit more every year. So I think that's probably what it is for me, is sort of reflecting on the end of one era before something totally new comes up in 2024.
Yeah, Evan, I'm a big ACC guy, and I love me some coastal chaos. So I'm the same way with the Big Ten West. Don't ever get rid of the Big Ten West. Before we let you go, what's going on the baseball end? I know people are probably focused on basketball and football, obviously, but things still happening on the baseball side of things.
Yeah, it's kind of going under the radar a little bit because there's no red-white series this year. The sod or the grass at Haymarket Park's being redone. So their fall season is essentially over. They had that exhibition at UNO and at Kansas. Those were both pretty, low profile sort of deals, but now they head into the off season. They'll pick up team activities again in mid-January and then get rolling in mid-February. But, I think the next thing that people can be looking for with the baseball team right now is the schedule. You're talking about schedules coming out.
Yeah.
This is typically that time of year when Nebraska baseballs comes out. I think there's one little snag that they're trying to fill, or one last open date that they're trying to fill before they release that thing, but it's mostly set. And so people should have a good chance of to see what that looks like. And yeah, it's going to be a totally different looking team. I think there's going to be some more pitching depth, which we saw that they had last year. And then to me, the big question is, how do you improve on an offense that just struggled to be diverse, to be potent, to be clutch, all these sorts of things. And they felt like they addressed that through the portal, through the junior college ranks. They added some freshmen who should probably get some run right away as well. So, baseball, it's always interesting because the baseball season is framed by how football and basketball went. So we'll kind of see how thirsty people are for success once that time comes around. But there's no doubt it's going to be a new look team, and it feels like it's going to be wide open because it's not just Nebraska. You look around the Big Ten, everybody's going to the portal, everybody's turning over their roster. So it should make for some pretty unpredictable and fun times coming up next spring.
I'm a huge schedule release guy. I cannot wait for Nebraska baseball schedule to come out. Always fun. I know last year they had TCU. That was a lot of fun too. So maybe we'll get something like that. Evan, if people want to get more great content from you, a lot happening on the football side of things, kind of stay up to date with baseball, how can they do so?
Yeah, same as always. At Evan Bland OWH on Twitter and Omaha.com for not just mine, but a lot of my colleagues' work too. A lot of stuff going on for football. Basketball's coming up, like you said. Number 1 volleyball team's rolling. So there's lots to read if you want to check it out.
Awesome. Evan, we appreciate you. We'll talk to you next week, hopefully celebrating a win.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All right, there he goes. Evan Bland, Omaha World Herald. Great stuff from him, as always, giving us a little baseball rundown, too. Big schedule release, guys. So excited to see Nebraska baseball schedule release. Hopefully we get a cool team coming to Nebraska. I don't really know what all that entails, but I want a cool team coming to Nebraska for baseball. We got to take a quick break. 402-464-5685. Honda of Lincoln Hotline. Give us a call now because, as Strick says, it's time to play the game. It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Your chance to win $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. So give us a call now. 402-464-5685. Shootout with Strick coming up next on the block.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew live from Tipsy Tina's in the Haymarket as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Brought to you by A1 Automotive, Mullen Motors, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, Bauer Underground, Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group, and Ritchie Brothers.
Hi, I'm Charlie Stone, and I'm back with Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, you said to me earlier you have a lot going on at the dealership. Can you tell our listeners about it?
Sure can, Charlie. As I've said before, if you don't see a vehicle on our lot that you're looking for, it's probably on its way soon.
So, how many new Hondas do you have in stock or on the way?
We have a total of over 325, Charlie, with a great selection of Pilots and Ridgelines in stock right now.
Well, we have been talking about the Honda of Lincoln way of buying cars for several months. How is that going?
People love it. We're buying all makes and models, whether they purchase the car from us or not. I mean, really, it's a no hassle, and we will pay them cash on the same day.
Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Chances are you haven't started thinking about holiday shopping yet. Chances are your holidays will be much less stressful if you could do all of that shopping in one place. Chances are you can have all that shopping done today with the help of Beatrice Bakery. Pick up Grandma's fruitcakes in sizes all the way up to 5 pounds, and you can sit back and relax this year. Order now at BeatriceBakery.com or buy them here in Lincoln at the From Nebraska gift shop at 8th and Q. Beatrice Bakery. Welcome to our world of yum. Tractor Supply is looking for full-time team members for their Waverly Distribution Center. Tractor Supply has a new progressive pay model where team members receive 5 wage increases in the first 2 years of employment with the ability to earn up to $24 per hour. Applicants can expect a 3- and 4-day workweek schedule with additional overtime days with both day and night shift schedules available. At Tractor Supply, they work hard, have fun, and make money. Apply today at tractorsupply.jobs. Get an immediate look back at the game from the people who know it best. It's the Tanner's post-game show and the final word live from Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Hear from former players and national champions like Jay Foreman, Rashawn Jackson, and Aaron Davis and see what they saw in that day's game. It's the Tanner's post-game show and the final word. Live and in person, home or away at Tanner's Bar and Grill, brought to you by Bauer Infrastructure. Only here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Bagels and Joe has a brand new location in Seward, and it's open for business. Get ready for the fall with pumpkin chocolate chip muffins, pumpkin cream cheese, and a pumpkin pie smoothie. Don't forget their delicious breakfast burritos and sandwiches, and grab a business box of bagels for the work crew. Bagels and Joe with 4 Lincoln locations and now in Seward.
In your busy life, very little is free. But your next home might be a bit less than you think with a free appraisal from Security First Bank. Free home appraisals from Security First Bank. We're the bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Offer valid through December 31st, 2022 on secondary market new home purchase loans only. One free appraisal per transaction. Appraisals paid for by lender at closing. Subject to lender qualifications. See lender for details. NMLS number 505011.
People always ask, what are Jake and Sip like when they're off the air? Well, the answer probably won't surprise you.
Hey, Jake, your Honda's looking a little dirty.
Says the guy whose license plate is barely visible.
I mean, do you even care about that thing anymore?
It gets a little uncomfortable. Now, that's when I jump in.
Hey, whoa. Mark, did you get a new car?
Nope, just took my car down to Nebraska Auto Detail. Joe and the staff made the outside and the inside look amazing. Maybe you guys need to go.
Okay, wise guy.
Settle down, Jake.
Book your appointment today at NebraskaAutoDetail.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today. Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
We'll see increasing cloud cover late in the day. We'll top out near 62. Winds turning out of the southeast at around 15. Mostly cloudy tonight with a low of 41. We'll see a chance of scattered showers tomorrow with an afternoon high of 58. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685, to take your shot against Eric Strickland. Shootout with Strick. Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Time to play the game!
That is correct. Ha 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 ha. It's time to play the game. It's all about the game. Shootout with Strick, your chance to win $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. All you got to do is call 402-464-5685. And you got to beat the Husker Hall of Famer at his own game. 5 questions for Strick, 5 for you. 4 are either or, and then the 5th one, open-ended, just like an open-ended exam, except it's about sports normally. Sometimes we mix it up a little bit. Strick, you've had a tough go of it so far this week. You're 0 for 2 on the week. I think it's time to turn it around. What do you say? It's time to get on the winning ways.
It's time to get off the schneid, man. Get it cracking. So let's just get to it.
We need to get to it. That's why you guys got to call 402-464-5685. Honda Lincoln Hotline again, $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings on the line. Again, all you got to do is beat Strick. And Strick's not been on his winning ways recently. So if there's ever a time to execute and if there was ever a time to beat Strick, today would probably be the day. Who knows, though, Strick? You get hot sometimes. And you go.
I can get hot.
I know. You can get hot. You can. Was that how it was when you were in the NBA? You just had to get the hot hand?
Well, it would just kind of happen in waves because a lot of it was spawned from my defense. The defense spawned a lot of my offensive stuff. So if I really got off to a really good defensive start, my offense could kick off real nicely. So, yeah.
Was there any guy that was kind of like the microwave? Like you didn't let that guy get going because he'd just tear you apart?
I mean, guys like Jamal Crawford were like that. There's certain guys, you're absolutely right, that just wouldn't get right. I'd have to really think about that because it's been so long. I'd have to really go back through my mental Rolodex because there are a few guys that were like that, no question.
I can't remember. Was it because the Bad Boys had a guy they called the microwave? Was it?
Yeah, Vinny Johnson. Vinny
Johnson. That's right, Vinny
Mhm.
Johnson. And
Vinny
he played
Johnson.
for the Celtics too, didn't he?
I don't know if Vinny ever played for the Celtics. I know he did play definitely a good long tenure with the Pistons. I just don't know for sure if he went.
Yeah, I know there are a few guys that were like that. Always cool to see guys. That's what I was wondering. But that's you and Shootout with Strick. We're gonna call you the microwave because when you get hot, you're hot. But when you're not hot, you struggle a little bit. We're gonna head to the Honda of Lincoln hotline where we have Braden. Braden, how you doing today?
I'm pretty good, guys. I'm just got some vacation time off of work. I've been super bored, so I'm just calling in.
Oh, nice. Yeah, good stuff. We appreciate you listening. This is definitely a great spot to go if you're bored during your day. And shout out to you, Braden. We appreciate you. You know how this works. You got to stay on the line, see how many points Strick gets in order to win the chicken. And then we'll come to you, Braden. So stay on the line. We'll see how many points Strick gets today. Strick, you got to get back on your winning ways. How you feeling?
I mean, I'm feeling good. I gotta stay confident.
All right. Yeah, you got to stay confident. All right, Strick, we will start in 3, 2, and 1. He is Illinois' second leading rusher. Reggie Love or Chase Hayden?
Hayden.
Nope, it's Love. He leads Illinois in receptions. Isaiah Williams or Casey Washington?
Williams.
That is correct. He is tied with Chase Bryson rushing touchdowns. Josh McCray or Tommy DeVito?
DeVito.
That is correct. He leads Illinois in interceptions. Sidney Brown or Kendall Smith?
Smith.
Yep. And then Illinois is ranked where in the AP poll?
24.
I had to make sure you weren't doing a little hezzy on me.
17.
It's too late. The buzzer already went off.
No, that was a hezzy. You said you wanted the hezzy. I gave you the hezzy.
I was, and that's why I was giving you a chance. But no, the buzzer went off. And it is completely shut off.
No, I need Rico. I need Rico in there on this one.
Well, Rico's not even here because Rico would not defend you. So it's probably
I said 17 before the buzzer, man.
Well, the thing is, too, is I asked where they ranked now, Strick, because when they initially entered the rankings, I believe they were 24. So shout out to you. But I think they went from 24 to 18 to now 17. I think that was the chain of how it goes. But Strick, that'll end you with 3 points. Not a bad score. Brady, got to get 3 in order to tie, 4 to win. How you feeling?
We'll see what the questions are. I don't really know any of those, but, 50-50.
50-50. Well, if you picked up on it, I know Strick doesn't like me giving away the categories because he worries that you guys are on Google, but category today is Illinois this season. So if you're headed to a tailgate, you can answer some trivia questions. Let people know about Illinois. That's what we're doing right here. Braden, are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, we will start in 3, 2, and 1. He leads Illinois in receiving yards. Pat Bryant or Brian Hightower?
Hightower.
Nope, it's Bryant. He has made the most kicks for Illinois this season. Caleb Griffin or Hank Beatty?
Griffin.
That is correct. He leads Illinois in tackles. Jerson Newton or Sidney Brown?
Sidney Brown.
Nope, it's Newton. He has the longest receiving touchdown for Illinois this season. Jonah Morris or Isaiah Williams?
Williams.
That is correct. And for the win, Illinois' only loss this season is to this Big Ten school.
Oh, boy. I should know this. I don't remember it. Ohio State?
Oh, Braden, that one was for the win. It is Indiana. So it was week 1 in college football. Illinois would fall to Indiana. So that leaves you with 2 points. So, Braden, good showing today. Luckily for you, Strick plays for the people. So go ahead and hang up now because the third caller will get $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. That includes you, Braden. You can still get $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. Again, the third caller number 3, 402-464-5685. You will get $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. Strick, this is for you.
Boom shakalaka. Finish him. Give me a hell yeah. I said give me a hell yeah.
All right, Strick, you needed that one. You're back on your winning ways. That's one. You could end Friday, not with a champ is here, but you could set yourself up for a quality week next week, heading into Monday with the champ is here. So impressive showing today, Strick. Impressive showing today. Shout out to you. I'll give you the tiebreaker just because I think it's always fun to do so. So Tommy DeVito will take over. He was Syracuse's starting quarterback. Heads over to Illinois, and he's got him rolling. So far this season, how many yards has Tommy DeVito thrown for?
1,325.
Ooh, not as close as you were yesterday. Yesterday, you were literally 6 yards off. Today, you're about 100 off. He's thrown for 1,415. So, with a touchdown to interception ratio, pretty good. He's thrown 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and ran for 4 touchdowns. So, Tommy DeVito having a pretty good season. But as Strick and I have said, make Tommy DeVito beat you. We will dare him to beat you. That is what we want. We do not want Chase Brown beating us, but we'll get into all that. We'll get into some NIL talk. We'll get into some Jimbo Fisher talk. Steve Simple also going to join us in the next hour. Make sure you stick with us on the block. 93.7 The Ticket.
James Enterprise Incorporated, that company that hauls your gravel, rocks, and material for your farm or construction site, says thank you to the people of the healthcare community for putting yourself in the way of danger to save the public. That is what it means to be a hero and to build a beautiful legacy. This message brought to you by James Enterprise Incorporated. For all your hauling of rock, gravel, and materials, call them at 402-432-6740. That's 402-432-6740.
Bagels and Joe has a brand new location in Seward, and it's open for business. Get ready for the fall with pumpkin chocolate chip muffins, pumpkin cream cheese, and a pumpkin pie smoothie. Don't forget their delicious breakfast burritos and sandwiches, and grab a business box of bagels for the work crew. Bagels and Joe, with 4 Lincoln locations and now in Seward. Herrick Services takes this time to wish everyone a happy and safe Halloween weekend. With all the parents and kids out and about, they encourage drivers to be careful and respectful of trick-or-treaters. This important message comes to you from Bart, Mike, and the folks at Herrick Services, your vending specialists here in Lincoln. Their quality service and expertise has earned them a fine reputation. That's Herrick Services, on the air because they care.
In your busy life, very little is free, but your next home might be a bit less than you think with a free appraisal from Security First Bank. Free home appraisals from Security First Bank. We're the bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. Offer valid through December 31st, 2022 on secondary market new home purchase loans only. One free appraisal per transaction. Appraisals paid for by lender at closing. Subject to lender qualifications. See lender for details. NMLS number 505011.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit gocurrency.com and apply today.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
If you need to sell equipment and trucks, Ritchie Brothers' new Lincoln Satellite Yard lets you free up space at your property and get local access to all Ritchie Brothers auctions. Drop your equipment off and sell it online at any Ritchie Brothers auction, Iron Planet, or via Marketplace E. The yard is at 8801 US 6 Lincoln. It's secure and makes for easy in-person buyer inspections and pickup. Take advantage of this yard to sell at Ritchie Brothers' Great Plains Regional Auction, September 15th and 16th. For details, visit rbauction.com/Lincoln. Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match,
an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Dana Trucking. Learn more and apply today at danatrucking.com.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
This is On the Block with Strick and Nate. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
And Hokie Homer turned Husker, Nathan Brennan.
Everyone knows that I'm the smartest person here.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Nate.
Welcome back on the block. E. Strick and Nate Brennan here. 2 to 4 every day. YouTube stream, Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch. You can find us there each and every day. Been some good discussion going on. Been talking about Iowa. We've been talking about the schedule. Had shootout with Strick, but now we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on down south in the Texas area. We're going to jump on that a little bit. We'd love to hear from you as well. 402-464-5685. That is the Sutter Heyman text line. So listen, Nate Brennan, this Jimbo Fisher thing, it's one of those things at the end of the day that you've got to look at it and wonder what the heck is going on. I mean, there's some things I said earlier, like even when Jimbo was down at Florida State, obviously he won a championship, and I personally just, it was something about him that I just couldn't get over. I very much thought it was a fraud. He wasn't really as good as what was being reported. And now we find that a report coming out of Texas Ags by Billy Luigi, he noted that earlier in the week that Texas A&M has reportedly suspended 3 freshman football players and maybe 4 as a result of a locker room incident after the Aggies loss to South Carolina. There are some details, there is some speculation, but the frustrating thing is, here's the suspended players. The suspended players, Denver Harris, PJ Williams, Chris Marshall, and all members of the illustrious, the big time signing class, the number 1 ranked 2022 signing class. They were all a part of that. And there's still not a lot of clarity. But here's the problem. They've now slipped to 3 and 4 after a loss to, I personally don't think is a very good South Carolina team. Shane Beamer's got them playing, but nonetheless, I still think that is not a very good team. Texas A&M have lost now 3 straight. So when you look at that, we talked about it a little bit earlier. We talked about, and we'll probably delve into this as well, but we'll go a little bit deeper. But just on the surface of it, Nate, you got to ask the question, how is this happening? Because Georgia gets 4 and 5 stars.
Right.
Alabama gets 4 and 5 stars. You know, you go down some of the, best programs in the country, they win games. You don't see a lot of teams with high 5 stars, number one recruiting class that's now 3 and 4. It just doesn't normally happen. And so there's something that comes into play with that. But I'll let you address this, Jimbo, the F question of Jimbo Fisher first.
Well, I think you can definitely put Texas A&M in the F word category because started out the season, I believe they were 6th in the country in the preseason polls. Now you're 1-3 in the SEC, 3-4 on the season, like you said, Strick. The suspension situation is very fascinating to me because playing devil's advocate on this, I think that's kind of how you build a program, how you set a standard. Jay Foreman has talked about it extensively. This is how we do business. This is what we're going to do. This is Nebraska football. In this sense, this is Texas A&M football. This is what flies. This is what doesn't. I guess I understand the suspension, but what's so confusing to me, Strick, is like you said, is that Texas A&M has all the talent in the world, all the resources in the world, all the money in the world. And you're telling me that you're 3-4 and Jimbo Fisher is sitting around 500 in the SEC since he arrived at Texas A&M
and has $90 million left on a buyout.
And it sits odd with me.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's a Jimbo Fisher issue. I don't know if it's a culture issue. Jay has talked about this too. A lot of times it's fit. And it's certainly different coaching at Texas A&M than it is at Florida State down in Tallahassee. I mean, it's just different programs, different standards. So I don't know. And as for that, I kind of want to dive into this a little bit too, Strick, and I want to hear some of your thoughts as well. But a lot of this, I think, stems around money, like I said. And the question for me is, are players now going to be going down this rabbit hole where you're choosing programs, you're choosing schools, you're choosing coaches for that matter, because you're choosing Jimbo Fisher based off of NIL or off of fit? Because I think that's a big thing. And you look at the transfer portal, and there's many success stories about how players enter the transfer portal, they fit, like a Joe Burrow, for example. It just didn't work for him at Ohio State. The fit at LSU was perfect. He embodied their culture. He embodied their fan base. He embodied the state of Louisiana, the Go Tigers, all that. I mean, you can go extensively and talk about players that fit. But now with NIL, I'm worried that a school like Texas A&M, you're going to have players across the entire country getting offered to play at Texas A&M, and they're going to be offered probably more money than basically anywhere outside of maybe Alabama and Texas are the only two. So you're going to be offered the money, but is that the right place for you to go? And do you think that's going to be a problem moving forward in college athletics?
And so there's a lot to that. That's a fully loaded question. Right. And it's one that I think you really have to dig into. And I'd love to see the research done on it. I'd love to see a student break this down and really look into it, because I think fit matters. I think culture matters. I think style matters. I think those who you're going to be coached by matters. Those are all of the formulas of the former day, right? You normally people would go to schools based on culture, fit, closeness to home.
Right.
There was all these different things that gave the young man or the young woman just the willingness to go and give their all for that particular program, right?
Yeah.
To lay it all on the line, to even after they're done, to say, like I would say to myself and my friends or those around me, or when I'm living in other places of the country, that I bleed red and I don't care what's going on. I don't care what they've done. I may not like it, but I'm Cornhusker for life, right? Mm-hmm. Those are the things that is tough for somebody that's coming to play for the money only. Sutter Heyman text lines open, 402-464-5685. Here's why. It doesn't matter if it's sports. It doesn't matter if it's regular business, or it doesn't even matter if it's the school you're going to. Because if you're going to school just for the party, just for the play, just for the, whatever it is, and not for what you're trying to get out of it, you're going to fail.
Yeah.
Right? You go into a job, even though it's paying you more, but the location isn't right for you. Maybe the culture of that organization, the CEO's leadership isn't right for you and your fit. It's going to become drudgery. It's going to become I don't even want to be here, but I got to go.
Going through the motions.
You go through the motions. And I think that's what's happening. You're getting a lot of kids that maybe wanted to go somewhere else. And I think maybe they were influenced by parents or they were pushed by parents. And it's the same thing that you can say for kids that are that don't want to play baseball or don't want to play basketball. And they're constantly being thrust into it by the parents or by the outside influences or by the guardians. And it's only because of something called the money, the moolah, the cash, right? And at the end of the day, it doesn't work. I don't think it works. I think it ultimately fails. You have to have a strong foundation in that. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And I think that's what we're seeing out of Texas A&M.
And that's a good point too, Strick, that you make, because we don't know the extent of the suspension right now. I know it's indefinite. We don't know the cause or the reasoning behind the suspension. I know there's been some rumors, some speculation, but if you have kids that are a 5-star, maybe you've been the man wherever you went, and now you're at Texas A&M and you're behind a bunch of 5-stars, and then I don't know, maybe you retaliate, maybe you make poor decisions, maybe you do something that isn't in your best interest. And I just look at this situation, and I'm not going to say Jimbo Fisher's lost the team, because I think it might be a little bit premature to say that. I think that might be a little bit recency bias in doing that. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's not a good look, because you look at Texas A&M and where they are as a program. When Jimbo Fisher took over, the whole point was for him to turn around a program that had been around 500. That was the goal. That was the expectation. The reality of it right now is you look at Texas A&M, they're right there in the middle of the pack in the SEC. And unfortunately, when you look at the SEC, LSU just got Brian Kelly. They're only going to get better. Tennessee has proven that they have arrived. Georgia, Alabama, they're still at the top. Ole Miss, I think they are still the F word, but Lane Kiffin running the ship. Last year, they're a top 10 team. This year, they were in the top 10. Like, the SEC isn't getting easier anytime soon. And if you don't have a rein on this now, in the current nature of NIL, in the transfer portal, it's only going to get worse. So now my next question to you, Strick, if you're Texas A&M, do you eat the buyout? Because like you said, it is one of the biggest buyouts in college football, and it takes a toll on a program. I don't care any way that you slice it. It's a lot of money to pay a coach not to coach for you.
Yeah.
Do you make the move now, or do you see if things get better? Because we know at Nebraska, we saw firsthand what can happen if you wait too long to get rid of a coach. It can spiral, it can get out of control, and it can put your program back years. So if you're Texas A&M, do you make the jump now?
Yeah, I don't think they can. I think you've got to see it through for some portion of the time. Or if you're going to, you maybe want to bring in an assistant that is someone that you feel confident that can slide in there and have him in the wings, right? I don't know if their coaching staff has that or if that's in place. I'm not sure. But I will say that I think I understand exactly where you're coming from. What this should have been for Texas A&M is foundational, right? They've been kind of teetering. They're in and out, up and down, little bit of wins here, kind of ultimately finding themselves always still where they're at now, towards the middle or bottom half, but more towards the middle upper half. This should have been a foundational building block for them for going forward, for what you just said about how it's going to either get worse in the current system of NIL and transfer portals. Mm-hmm. You want to have foundations at least solidified. You don't want to have, like, if you had your house and you had a cracky foundation, sooner or later it's going to topple. It's going to come down, or it's going to be problems. You're going to have internal issues, right? Just like you would have in a house. But if it's in a program and you don't have a set foundation, you start to see these little issues, these little problems, these little, and so all of that has to start to be built. And that's what I'm hoping Mickey, regardless of if Mickey remains the coach or returning to a new coach, that Mickey is setting and sealing the foundation so that it can begin to breed and have some form of an identity, right? That's what I don't see, and that's the problem. But I still think it's way too much to shut the door and seal that situation up. It's just too much money. I think they have to see it through a little bit further.
It is a lot, and that's the thing too, is when you get these top tier coaches, you got to pay them and you got to set these buyouts. So I know everyone loves the home run hire and all that, but you look at a situation like Nebraska now, you look at Florida State, and you just kind of cuff yourself because these buyouts are going to be huge, and that's the nature of college football. Look at Mel Tucker at Michigan State. I don't even know his buyouts the same way. I mean,
they've got nowhere to go. You're stuck.
And you don't, and you get stuck. And that's the situation with Texas A&M. They're still recruiting at a high level. They're still in the state of Texas. They have the NIL and all that. But if you don't have the guy, like you said, Strick, setting that foundation, you have nowhere to go. You get stuck. And it's unfortunate, and it'll be interesting to see what Texas A&M does with that. We're going to head to the Honda of Lincoln hotline where we have Mike. Mike, what's on your mind today?
Not much. You know what I find interesting, if you remember when Jimbo Fisher left Florida State, even though he'd won a national championship and been pretty successful, towards the end, not so much.
Yeah.
And I think they were 5-6 when he got fired. And there were a lot of, I don't know, not necessarily accusations, but a lot was written about that the program culturally was deficient, and things are like he was getting out of town at the right time. And so many times they hire coaches, and they've had some success, but you can see it going the other way. And all the athletic directors seem to focus on is, well, he had these good earlier years, and make excuses for the coaches. And the other thing I want to say is it just blows my mind. And I know it's not as simple as that, but Texas and Texas A&M have all the resources in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, they got so many football players in Texas. It's amazing.
Yeah.
They have so much money. It's amazing. I flew down there in the early 2000s, and we had a guy's private jet. We flew down in there. And after the game, we were flying back, and there had to be 35 private jets sitting on the tarmac in Austin, Texas, waiting to go. All these doctors and lawyers that hadn't met. I mean, just buku bucks. I mean, money is never an issue for them. And some of those private jets, I've flown smaller planes commercially than some of their private jets. And they have all these players within several hundred miles of campus, all this money, and they have not been very good for the last 10 years or more. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, appreciate the call, Mike. He makes some good points too. I mean, he's right. Texas A&M has every resource under the sun, and Jimbo Fisher. I know that was the hire that they made, Strick, but I think they might be regretting it right now because there's just no way out.
Yeah, there's definitely no way out. And Augie on the text line says very, very much. He agrees with what I said. Players, workers, student, doesn't matter who it is, should be at a program because they want to be and believe in it. I think that's where it has to start, and that's what also made Nebraska so strong all through the years, is because they had a walk-on program. But it wasn't because the program was, but it was the culture. It was those who believed in it, and then those kids wanted to just be in the program, and some of them turned out to be some of the best players for Nebraska over the course of it because they worked their tail off. They cared. They wanted it, and then they saw what was ahead of them, and they understood the history, and they came and performed, and they practiced, and they got better, and they got in the weight room, and they got stronger. So yeah, man. I mean, Augie says exactly what I had to say about it. Tyler thinks that suddenly 15 million isn't at all that bad. Ha ha. Absolutely.
That way, Tyler. I mean, fair enough. Yeah.
When you look at it from the full scope of it, 15 million is a good look right about now. So absolutely. And the caller,
Mike.
Was it Mike? Caller Mike said, as I said, Jimbo Fisher did something that I think PJ Fleck should do. And that's get out early before your name starts to fall down the la-da-dee-doo, 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 la, right? he's got Jimbo Fisher what's the F word? Fraud. I thought he was a fraud. I didn't think he was that good. I was surprised when they upped him down there like that, but same thing happened at Florida State. He left Florida State in shambles. He's just one of those guys to me that I just felt wasn't that guy.
Well, I mean, Florida State, for what it's worth, is in complete and total shambles. I don't know if you want to blame Jimbo Fisher. I don't know if you want to blame Willie Taggart. I don't know if you want to throw Mike Norvell into that group, but they've got their own set of issues. But so does Texas A&M, and it'll be interesting because Texter says on the text line, this is a result of guys like Nick Saban and Urban Meyer destroying reasonable expectations for success in college football, especially among blue bloods. Hey, that's the reality. Is Texas A&M is crazy fans, crazy expectations, and I don't see that stopping anytime soon. So Jimbo Fisher certainly on the hot seat now, and it'll be interesting to see where that goes. We got to take a quick break. Steve Sipple on 3 Husker Online. He's going to join us next. We're going to break some of this down. We're going to break down some Nebraska, Illinois, too. So make sure you stay with us on the block. 93.7 The Ticket.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit gocurrency.com and apply today.
If you need to sell equipment and trucks, Ritchie Brothers' new Lincoln Satellite Yard lets you free up space at your property and get local access to all Ritchie Brothers auctions. Drop your equipment off and sell it online at any Ritchie Brothers auction, Iron Planet, or via Marketplace E. The yard is at 8801 US 6 Lincoln. It's secure and makes for easy in-person buyer inspections and pickup. Take advantage of this yard to sell at Ritchie Brothers' Great Plains Regional Auction, September 15th and 16th. For details, visit rbauction.com/Lincoln.
These days, there are more reasons than ever to treat yourself to a great haircut at Great Clips with the online check-in app. So tell us, why do you check in?
I check in because I'm tired of hat hair. I check in because we all need a cut.
I check in so I can feel like me.
And I check in so I look good for you.
No matter why you check in, you'll check out with a great haircut and save time with our online check-in app. Great Clips. It's going to be great.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
October often presents all 4 seasons within 1 month. Are you and your feet prepared for the highs and lows? Stop in now to Brown Shoe Fit for a fall sale. Get $10 to $15 off any regular price shoe over $70. Save on dress shoes, athletic shoes, boots, and even hiking shoes. Brown's has great brands like Brooks, New Balance, Clarks, Hoka, Merrell, and more. Some exclusions may apply, so see store for details. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today for their fall sale, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest, quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
People always ask, what are Jake and Sip like when they're off the air? Well, the answer probably won't surprise you.
Hey, Jake, your Honda's looking a little dirty.
Says the guy whose license plate is barely visible.
I mean, do you even care about that thing anymore?
It gets a little uncomfortable. Now, that's when I jump in.
Hey, whoa. Mark, did you get a new car?
Nope, just took my car down to Nebraska Auto Detail. Joe and the staff made the outside and the inside look amazing. Maybe you guys need to go.
Okay, wise guy.
Settle down, Jake.
Book your appointment today at NebraskaAutoDetail.com.
Hey, it's Nicklin Hames from Nebraska Volleyball. I hate wasting time in practice, and I want to help you stop wasting your time when you're looking for an electrician. High Electric has been serving the area for over 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They are experts in everything like remodeling, new additions, hot tub installation, and more. And they take jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at high-electric.com.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Nate on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to On the Block. My name is Nate Brennan. He's the Husker Hall of Famer, 9-year NBA vet Eric Strickland. You're listening to 93.7 The Ticket, 402-464-5685. Honda Lincoln Hotline, Starter Heyman text line. You can also check us out, see what's going on here in studio. Strick remote today, but he's still here on the StreamYard. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. If you head over to YouTube, give us a like, give us a subscribe. We appreciate all of you as always. Great interaction from the text line, great interaction from all of the streams. Again, we appreciate every single one of you. And right now, we're going to bring in one of our favorite guys, Steve Sipple, coming in on a Wednesday. What's going on, man?
Yeah, thanks for adjusting and being patient. I appreciate it. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, we're doing all right, Sip. And you know what? Anytime that we can get a legend on like you, we'll take it. So even if it has to be on a Wednesday, that's all right. We will make it work. Steve Sipple on 3, Husker Online, joining us right now. Sip, I asked Evan earlier this. I've been asking Strick. Nebraska facing Illinois this week, and the big question is stopping the running game. And Tommy DeVito's looked good at times, but Strick and I have continued to say over and over, make him beat you. Don't let the running game be the thing that beats you, the thing that takes you down. What do you think is the key to success for Nebraska this week when it comes to stopping the run?
Well, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot that goes into that conversation. I think the number one thing is what Bill Bush addressed today to the media core. Don't let 3-yard runs turn into 6-yard runs. And you know, let's put it this way: Chase Brown this year has more yards after contact than Anthony Grant has yards. Period. I mean, he runs through you. He really does. I've seen him twice, and he's kind of striking that way. He's tough to bring down, tough for one guy to bring down. If you get a really good shot at him, you can. So there's that. But here's the reason it's such a daunting conversation for Nebraska is, in a sense, Illinois is very simplistic in what they do. A lot of power runs, a lot of counter zone, basic football plays. But they're very good at it. They're very technique sound. They're very disciplined, and you have to match that. I mean, every play you have to be very physical, very technique sound, very alert, and that's hard to do for 60 minutes. So it's Brett Bielema. I mean, he's just one of the best, and he seems like he's 52 years old right now. And it seems like Brett is at the top of his game right now in his profession.
Sip, quick question, man. We were just talking just on this last segment, we're having a little discussion about why Jimbo Fisher and the 5-star just treasure trove of talent and athletes that he has down there, but at the same time, it finds himself still 3-4. So part of the debate we were kind of talking about, and also on the Sonder Heyman text line, which we had some people to chime in on, is that is there a difference in the success of programs that are solely highly dependent on the money, on the NIL, as opposed to the culture, as opposed to the to the reasons and the purposes as to why someone would want to go to a college, and then it kind of waters down the program's effectiveness and the successes because of the fact that some kids are just solely being pushed into going to certain places because of the money.
Multi-layered conversation, and I think a lot of the reason NFL football and college football captivates our country is because many of these conversations are multi-layered and pretty complex. And I think we all recognize that to get a football program rolling in the right direction consistently is exquisite. It's something to behold. And so the way I'd answer your question is it's not either or, Eric. I mean, I think ideally you can have all of that. You can be Alabama. You can be Alabama. Mm-hmm. You can have NIL be prominent in your discussion, which it is very prominent at Alabama. You can have the transfer portal be prominent in your discussion. You can have traditional recruiting be prominent in your discussion. You can have tradition. I mean, an incredible tradition. You can have kids gravitate toward Alabama because of what it used to be, not because of a paycheck. You can have it all, but it's hard to do, and that's why it's something to behold when it happens. If I were Nebraska, I wouldn't try to isolate any of those elements. I'd try to work them all together. I'd try to meld them into a machine. I mean, I'd try to meld NIL. I would try to meld the tradition. I would try to meld, the recruiting operation. Right. And, you have to have the right leader. You have to have a very broad thinking, multi-dimensional leader to put all that together.
Steve Sipple on 3 Husker Online joining us right now. Sip, we could talk about this. We won't go too far into that discussion, but what happened yesterday. But we could talk about recruiting. Malachi Coleman has officially said that he will be coming to Nebraska. How do you interpret this with Mickey's future? Obviously, Malachi wants to play receiver. Mickey Joseph, receiver guy. He's the interim head coach. Don't really know his future. Nebraska still lands Malachi Coleman, and some rumors have said they even flipped Malachi Coleman. There was a time he didn't want to come to Nebraska. What does this tell you to get a recruit like that to come to the university?
Well, much of the conversation is about Mickey, but I think it's more of an immediacy conversation. I think Mickey can say to him right now, look, I'm going to be part of this, or there's a good chance of it, whether he really knows it or not. It doesn't, right now, the key is getting the kid. And it's very possible that Mickey has received assurances. It's hard for me to imagine. It's not hard for me to imagine it, but look, you'd have to be telling a coach that 1/10 of his staff of full-time assistants is determined. And a lot of is determined for him. Mm-hmm. And a lot of coaches aren't down with that. They're just not on board. They don't get on board with that. They don't want to be told who's on their staff. So I don't know. I think Malachi Coleman verbally committing to Nebraska right now is another feather in Mickey's cap. Now, what's it all going to look like? Next season is hard to say.
Steve Sipple on 3 Husker Online joining us. Sip, the new schedule came out today. I know you've probably dissected it a little bit, and we were talking about this earlier. How do you feel about starting off against Minnesota? It seems like Nebraska going to have a test to start out the season yet again this year, or I guess next year.
Oh, I think it's exciting for Nebraska fans. I mean, we're going to be in a very exciting time at that moment because there'll be new leadership, and it's drivable and it's nice weather, and there'll be a flock. I mean, there'll be 15,000 people, I imagine, in that stadium. It's a very fun time in Minnesota during that period because it's the state fair time, and that's why they moved that game to Thursday.
Okay.
So I think it's fabulous, the schedule setting up the way it did. Even though there's 2 road games to start it, they're drivable. And then the second one, I don't know that it'll feel like a road game. I think that if I were the Colorado AD, I'd be and I'm not being facetious, I'm not being lighthearted. If I were the Colorado AD, I'd be very concerned about that game.
Yeah.
From a standpoint of, is this going to be 70% Nebraska fans in our stadium? Because that's what it very well could be.
Yeah.
Because of, there'll be a lot of excitement behind whoever the leader of the program is. There's always a lot of Nebraska fans that go to Colorado. There's a lot of Nebraska fans in Colorado and in that region. I don't know what you would do necessarily. I've never been an AD. I suppose there's things you can do in the way you sell your tickets. I'd think about maybe moving it to Mile High. Maybe I'd be considering several possibilities.
Sip, I had the pleasure of doing my first TV game and got a chance to see the Huskers up close and watch the Husker basketball team, the men's basketball team. And I got to see a lot of things that could pose not a challenge, but could pose, I would say, could be difficult for Big Ten teams to match up with. What is your initial thoughts on the Husker basketball program? I seem to notice that Fred was walking around with tremendous confidence. Like, I mean, it wasn't like when I used to see Scott, it looked like he was angry, there was frustration, but yet there was still like, I know what I got to do, and I'm willing to try to, take that challenge. Just a no nonsense type of attitude. Fred's walking around with his chest up and his head high. That's a confidence that you feel good about it. But what's your initial thoughts on the outside looking in and some of the things that you've been hearing about the men's basketball program?
Well, the Big Ten is such a bear. So you got to be well equipped, obviously. I'm very interested in Sam Griesel because he's going to have the ball in his hand a lot. Can he put up the sort of numbers he did in the Summit League, which is 14 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds, those sorts of numbers? Can he carry that over to the Big Ten? If he can, that's huge. I'm very interested in the SMU transfer and the Alabama transfer.
Vandermill and Gary, yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. And those guys are going to be critical, both of them, to the operation. Vandermill, because he probably is the closest thing to a backup point guard right now. And Gary, because of what you saw against Shadron State, the energy he brings, the athleticism they both bring on the defensive end. I guess what I'm really, really fascinated by is Fred doing sort of a 180 on how his approach, largely a 180, not completely, but now emphasizing defense and rebounding, which I think it makes a lot of sense. I think it's a little late. I mean, it's kind of like Frost. When Frost was 3 years into his tenure, he was talking about how well we probably adjusted to the league a little too slowly. I mean, it's like, okay, that's great. I appreciate the admission. There's some humility that's endearing, but why not make that after year one? I mean, Fred's 9-50 in the league. Yeah. So I mean, what's it going to mean? I don't know. The thing that I'd wonder right off is if I were a Nebraska fan, is do you have the star power to win 10 games in the Big Ten? Should that be some sort of pie in the sky notion that, like, I know this, I don't know about you guys, but when I say, hey, year 4, you should be winning 10 in the Big Ten. Go 10-10 in that 20-game league. People look at me like I'm nuts. Why? I mean, I have a little problem with that sort of culture. Well, I have a lot of problem with it, actually, that we've taken Nebraska basketball to a place where if you even suggest that they should win 10 games, half their games in the league, people think you're being unreasonable. I find that to be very unfortunate.
Yeah, me and Strick were talking about that, Sip. We think that Nebraska very well could be a 500 team in the Big Ten making the NIT. I don't know why that would be so unrealistic. I'm on the same page as you. Sip, we're running out of time, but before we let you go, realistic expectations for this upcoming Saturday.
I think it can be another close game. Right. I think it's hard to, guys, it would be hard for me to pull the trigger on predicting a Nebraska win because of what I said about the overall approach.
Right.
And just, it would be a big upset from a coaching standpoint if an interim head coach is able to outmaneuver one of the best in the business. Bielema right now is one of the best in the business. He's got it going at a very high level professionally. So that'll be really hard.
Yeah, I hope that Nebraska does come out with a win, but regardless, hopefully they do keep it close, make it an interesting game. Sip, if people want to get more great content from you, I know lots happening recruiting-wise. The season rolls on. Basketball going to start up here soon. Volleyball looks good. All that good stuff. How can they get more great content from you?
Yeah, go to from the crew at Husker Online. It's pretty incredible. Rob and Wash, it covers men's basketball at an extremely high level. I don't think there's anybody who covers it better. Abby Barmore covers the volleyball team. In fact, she'll be covering that match tonight at Wisconsin. And then Sean and I chip in with some football. And it's good. HuskerOnline.com is what we're talking about. It's part of the On3 network. But HuskerOnline.com is where to go.
Sip, we appreciate you as always. We'll see you here this weekend.
Thank you.
All right.
See you guys.
Awesome. Sounds good. There he goes. Steve Sipple on 3 Husker Online. Great stuff from him as always. You can also catch him on Early Break with Sip and Jake. 6 to 8 every single day. Right here, 93.7 The Ticket. We'll hear from him this weekend, too, as we have our pregame show at Tipsy Tina's, as always. We got one more segment. We got to put a nice bow on this, wrap it all up, and then I'll be here for Old School. Nick's going to join me. Bach's going to join me a little bit, too. DP feeling a little bit under the weather. Jay Foreman doing what Jay Foreman does out there, shaking hands, kissing babies, all that good stuff. So I'll still be here. But we got to say goodbye to Strick. We got to send him off on his way. He's got some traveling. He's got some things he's got to do, too. So make sure you stick with us. One more segment right here on the block. 93.7 The Ticket.
Casey's General Stores is giving away 2 tickets to each Nebraska football home game this season. To enter, just head to any Casey's General Store location in Lincoln during the football season, scan the QR code at the front counter, and fill out the online form. One winner will be chosen at random 2 days before that week's game. So head over to Casey's, stock up on all your tailgating snacks and drinks, and register to win 2 tickets to a Nebraska football game, brought to you by Casey's General Store and 93.7 The Ticket.
It's tailgate season. Why would you bounce around from place to place for all your beverage needs when you could have it all in one place? Wine, Beer, and Spirits has everything for your parties with their 3 locations in Lincoln, Grand Island, and Omaha. It's the largest liquor store in the state, and here's the best part. You can get a drink from their bar and walk around with it as you shop for all your tailgate necessities. Locally owned and operated, it's Wine, Beer, and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
You want to join a team of industry leaders, a team where you can learn and grow, a team that treats you right. Well, don't hesitate to look at all the great career opportunities at Acres Equipment, the largest John Deere dealer network in Nebraska. We offer industry-leading wages, state-of-the-art benefits, and a great culture that focuses on both our customers and our employees. Find your next career opportunity at acres.com/careers.
Wow. Did you ever save me money on my car?
Yes, that's why our customers keep coming back.
How do you do it, friendly car dealer ?
We simply have low overhead and high trade-in values. The next line's yours.
Oh.
Ready for something better? Mullen Motors is a no-hassle, no-pressure dealership with financing available. Check out the inventory at MikeMullenMotors.com.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit GoCurrency.com and apply today.
October often presents all 4 seasons within 1 month. Are you and your feet prepared for the highs and lows? Stop in now to Brown Shoe Fit for a fall sale. Get $10 to $15 off any regular price shoe over $70. Save on dress shoes, athletic shoes, boots, and even hiking shoes. Brown's has great brands like Brooks, New Balance, Clarks, Hoka, Merrell, and more. Some exclusions may apply, so see store for details. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today for their fall sale, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln. Join DP and Jay Foreman for Old School Thursday from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Scarlet Hotel at Innovation Campus. The guys will be broadcasting from the Barred Owl Patio Bar on the top floor. Come see the best views in town with great drinks on Thursday from the Scarlet Hotel at Innovation Campus.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
You had to know that when Wingstop set out to make a crispy, juicy chicken sandwich, they wouldn't make it in just one flavor. They'd make it in all 12, like lemon pepper, mango habanero, hickory smoked barbecue, and OG hot. So why have one new favorite chicken sandwich when you can have 12? Try the new sauced and tossed Wingstop chicken sandwich today for only $5.49 at Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Valid for a limited time and available at participating Wingstop locations only while supplies last. Price subject to applicable taxes and fees.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
We'll see increasing cloud cover late in the day. We'll top out near 62. Winds turning out of the southeast at around 15. Mostly cloudy tonight with a low of 41. We'll see a chance of scattered showers tomorrow with an afternoon high of 58. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We stand on the shoulders of women who came before us.
Women who fought for their own financial futures.
And now it's our turn.
Join us. Visit WeSaySaveIt.org and take control of your financial future by saving for retirement.
A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment. And 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Nate on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to On the Block 93.7 The Ticket. My name is Nate Brennan. He's the Husker Hall of Famer, 9-year NBA vet Eric Strickland.
It's hot.
On the block.
Chilling on the block.
5685 Honda Lincoln Hotline, starting with text line, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Check us out. 27th and Pine Lake, Mary Ellen's. If you're heading home for a little dinner, go ahead and stop by Mary Ellen's. Wings, barbecue, ribs, all that good stuff. Charles and the crew, they'll hook you up. Had to make sure to give them a plug because we love Mary Ellen's over here. That is probably, if I had to say one place to be, that'd be at the very top of the list. That's for sure, Strick.
I mean, I love the fact that you can do the parties and stuff over there too. Remember the little back room when we did our little,
that was nice.
Our 93.7 The Ticket party. I mean, I love that. So it's not just the restaurant part of it is phenomenal, but you can also throw parties over there, throw events, whether it be for your work or your organization or for whatever reason. There's that little back area that I thought was really nice. They did a really good job over there.
They do. They do.
Even for Saturday, set it up for a Saturday, Husker kickoff day or something.
Yeah. Charles will hook you up too. He'll make sure you get the food right because that's what I just tried basically everything and nothing disappoints. That's for sure. Strick, before I let you go, I know you're a busy man. You got places to be, people to see. Looks like Ezekiel Elliott this week. He will not be playing as of right now. He is doubtful. Your boy Tony Pollard, he might be getting the bulk of the carries. Is this a passing of the torch?
I love it. I think it's something to watch, keep an eye on, definitely. I still think that either trading Ezekiel Elliott, there's probably a team out there that would want his services. I don't know if they want that salary to take on, but I'll tell you what, I think Tony Pollard is somebody that's been pretty consistent over the last 3 years in when he gets touches.
Yeah, Tony Pollard has been pretty good too. So if you're a fantasy football owner, shout out to you if you have Tony Pollard. That's probably going to work out pretty well for you. But the only thing that I worry about here, Strick, is that this just might be the Cowboys' new reality. Is the one guy goes down, another guy steps in. You have a few discussions about who's the starter now.
Keep your eye on Dak. Keep your eye on it.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Create a little bit of buzz. That's how it goes. Also, Strick, I got to ask you, how are you feeling about Sam Ehlinger? Today he talked to the media, sounded pretty good. What do you think? Are you buying them?
I knew you was going to be up on that. They needed to do something, right? I mean, they're kind of teetering along that, it's decision time. It's like right now before really half of the season to where you're like, listen, we're either going to boom or bust. And right now it's busting with Matt Ryan. We need to go in a different direction. And he's the guy that, some believe in, some believe, especially you. You totally are bought in, but we'll see, man. I think they need to make a move, and it was time for it.
Yeah, I'm completely bought in. You know that, Strick. I just think the Colts have been in mediocrity mode for so long, and it stinks. You know what? Tank. So be it. Get it.
They have a better line. Like, it's like, why are you going to invest in the line now that Andrew Luck is gone when you had the opportunity to do so? They have a better line, though.
Strick, I'm still holding out hope that Andrew Luck comes back one day. One day he's going to realize he misses football and he's going to come back.
You know what we need to get into, and I'm going to throw it out on the block. We might get into a little conversation. It's a little chippiness going on up there in the tundra up in Green Bay. Maybe we'll touch on that tomorrow here on the block. Aaron Rodgers is speaking out loud, and we're going to see what
Aaron Rodgers. Hey, you know who else is speaking, Strick? Your boy Klay Thompson. He's throwing up the four rings, baby. What do you got to say about that?
We'll get into that.
Great stuff, Strick. As always, I appreciate you. We'll talk to you tomorrow. That'll do it for us on the block. Old School coming up next. Me, Nick Sainer, Jake Bachman, stepping in. We'll see you soon.
This is your High School Minute.